And we're live! Again, welcome to the BounceBack Network. This is the fourth episode, of the Global Entrepreneurship Business Excellence Coaching Series. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome, our partner from Global Chamber, Colin Christie. Colin, good afternoon.
Hi, Sam. How are you doing?
Yeah, I missed you last episode. So, I heard that you had a great time with Doug, the global CEO of Global Chamber. So maybe you'd like to share, what happened last week to our, BBN community. Okay.
Sure. Yeah, it was really great. So for those of you who are live, thanks. If you missed it, definitely you can find the replay on our Facebook page. But yeah, Doug Brunke, who's the founder and global CEO of Global Chamber. This is our network that spans over 500 metro areas around the world. Was live, I think, 2 a.m. U.S. Arizona time. So it was great. But he was fully alert, and he gave us this 12-point plan for entrepreneurs of how you could be global too. So a lot of times we make the mistake of thinking, until I get much larger, I can't think beyond the Philippines. Many cases not true, and he spoke about how to make that reality. But even beyond that, even if you do stay local, actually, I found a lot of the advice he gave is relevant in any case as well. So do really encourage everyone to go back and watch that replay.
Yep, I also watched the replay, Colin. Really very, very practical, tips from Doug. And then you're correct. You don't have to be a big company to go global, right? So especially in this day and age when digital is now the norm,
That's
right?
right.
Everybody's online. So, and which is actually perfect. Our topic for today is just about that. How do you now engage your customers through digital channels? So, Colin, again, please do the honors of introducing our, distinguished guest. He's a Kabalen, so he's
That's
based in
right.
Pampanga. So, yep, please go ahead, sir.
Sure. Yeah, I've been really looking forward to this. It's a topic near and dear to my heart, which is on use of digital channels. And who better to speak about this than Reggie Vallente? He's a very close friend of mine too. I've known him for a while. He's just got the most amazing background. He's got 18 years of both corporate and consulting experience. He's a process optimization expert, and now digital marketing expert as well. So he's really been through lots of different areas of company operations, from startup. He's an entrepreneur himself. He's had his own startup, so he really knows what it takes. And he's really been in the digital transformation and digital space, especially since the pandemic started. He's got a lot of credentials himself. He's a certified digital marketing strategist. He's a certified specialist in customer value optimization and e-commerce and marketing, email marketing, search marketing, all these different areas. And he's the founder, as I mentioned, he's an entrepreneur. He's the founder of Process Doctors Academy. It's an eight-figure online course business. So he's really been quite successful too. So let's add the adjective, he's a successful startup founder. And that's what we're trying to help everyone be, is, how not just be a founder, be a successful founder. And then he also has a business called Vallente Digital and Ignite Vision Digital, and he helps businesses with a proprietary approach that I'm sure he's going to tell us about. In fact, in many cases, he's helped folks triple their income. So pay attention to that. If you're looking to, really boost your numbers, he's going to talk about that. So without further ado, thank you. Let's bring Reggie in, and it's great to have you here, Reggie.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Colin. Thank you, Sam. Pleasure to be here. Very honored to be here as well in this BounceBack Network and the series, basically. So thank you so much for having me here. And in fact, thank you for organizing this. For this going to be so much helpful for a lot of the entrepreneurs out there, right? And we all know, being entrepreneurs, there's so many things to think about, so many challenges, and having these things to actually inform us will really help in terms of changing things for us as well. So hi everyone, and hi as well for those who are on the replay. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of you. So I hope to be
Yep.
able to share a lot of valuable things for you.
Yep.
Yes, and indeed, and
Reggie,
actually, wherever you are in the world, and I would just want to quickly say, Sam, I'm feeling more relaxed already with the waterfall and the greenery. And are you feeling more
precisely.
relaxed?
Yeah, definitely. Colin, this is Reggie's first time on the BounceBack Network. So again, thank you, Reggie. This is your maiden episode. We look forward to more, sessions with you. Yeah, you told us that this will really be a short time, but it's going to be short but sweet. I'm telling you. So again, Reggie, the floor is yours. Thank you very much, Colin, for introducing Reggie. Okay.
All right, thank you. Let me see. I'll try to just share my screen. Okay, just making sure. I just wanted to check first if everyone's seeing my screen. Can you type in a 1 on the chat if you're seeing my screen? Yeah, yeah. Okay, good, awesome, awesome. All right, cool. All right, so as discussed, as mentioned by Sam and Colin, so I'm going to share with you today about how to engage our customers in various digital channels. And honestly, this is a tough, it's a tough thing to do because it's such a huge topic for a small amount of time. But I try to, just put in the snippets for you, one that could, make you think and hopefully try you have a couple of takeaways here that you can use for your business. All right, so without further ado, I'm just let me try and see. I just wanted to make sure that I'm able to move things around. Just give me a moment. Okay, there you go. Okay, so making sure that this moves. Okay, so I'm gonna skip this part. This part is just the introduction, which Colin already had. Okay, so let's go straight to the session. Okay, so what we'll cover right now, I'll do a brief, just a brief introduction on what is customer engagement. Why should we do it, and what are ways to do it to engage digitally, and that's because we can't go to the how when we don't know what it is first. Okay, so I'll go through swiftly in the on parts 1 and 2, and then we put more time on part 3, and towards the end, I think there's a Q&A session where we could discuss it a little bit more. All right, so moving on. So the first thing is, what is customer engagement? All right, so that would be the first question, right? What is customer engagement? It's actually, it's the interaction. It's like a summation of all the interactions that we have with our business and our customers. Okay, so this is something which ideally you plan for, but in case you don't, there are interactions which you have with your customer and your business. That's customer engagement right there. But really, compare this with uh, customer experience. Okay, so customer experience is more of the customer's point of view. It's what they experience based on the plans that you do to engage them. So let's say you make plans to actually engage them. You send, whether it's different things, right? So you could be sending emails, whether you make some posts out there. That could be your customer engagement plan, but the experience is how they're seeing it. It's their point of view. That's actually where you get to. It's almost like how they look at your brand is their perception of brand. That's customer experience right there. Again, compared to customer engagement, which is on the side of the company. So customer experience that's on the side of our customers, and customer engagement is what we do for them on the side of the company. And typically, these two are very much connected, because if depending on how we do customer engagement, it will obviously impact their customer experience. And of course, if our customers, if they like, if they continue to like us, like what we do, they're going to do business with us for a very long time, and which is good for us, right? And obviously, they would even recommend us to others. And that's where, the concept of, before we even trust a brand to actually transact with it, we normally we won't do that unless we know, like, and trust it. And in this entire, process that we have right here is what that is. Okay, so what are the benefits of engaging? Okay, so why should we do customer engagement in the first place? Well, first, if you do customer engagement, it actually enhances, the customer experience, and that actually improves the perception of our customers about our business, our company. And when you have this, these perceptions that they have with us, it will obviously impact the way their behaviors, the way they will deal with us, whether will get more services from us, or maybe they'll try our competitors, pretty much that. Okay, and it also, if as we do engagement, actually, we also get to, to strengthen our emotional, like, connection to our brand. Okay, and with that, typically that helps us to be able to retain our customers. So if you do customer engagement, chances are they would love your brand. They are emotionally invested on it, and hence what happens is they will stay with your brand. Okay, they become loyal fans of yours. Okay, and typically once you have that, then you have a sustainable business. And lastly, I would say, one of the more important things is the more you engage your customers, okay, the more you actually learn about them, right? And that's pretty much like, having a relationship with our wife, with our kids, right? The more you actually learn about them, the more you understand them, and the more we actually get to serve them better. And what do we mean by serve them better? We can actually give them the right products, the right services that's really for them, which is beyond what we initially sort of offered. Okay, so, and typically, once we're able to do this, that allows us to actually increase our revenues, right? Because obviously, most of the companies, they just, a lot of the focus is on customer acquisition, how to acquire leads, and new customers. But actually, the other side of revenue as well is you could generate more organic revenue, organic growth through existing clients. And if they are loyal to you, if you're able to build their brand, you engage with them, then that could mean repeat purchases, right? You have repeat purchase, you have increase on the frequency of them purchasing, and probably could also be that if you're actually able to offer them better services, right, based on knowing them more, then it could also lead to higher transaction order value, for instance. So at the end of the day, this could actually account as well for a good chunk, like 30-40% of your revenues could actually coming from repeat customers, repeat business, because they are loyal to you. And hence, that's why it's very important doing the engagement. Okay. And I'm just gonna go quickly to some. I just wanted to share, some of the stats for customer engagement. Like, you have 86% of our buyers are actually willing to pay more if they are better engaged. They have better customer experience. Just sharing that. Okay, and our customers, I would say, if they're fully engaged, they could actually give us high profitability just because they're going to spend more on with us, and they'll actually be endorsing our brand to others as well. And at the end of the day, here's a nice stat. It actually turns out that those who engage their customers, they have 63% lower attrition rate with customers. This is actually very good, right? So it means you're able to keep your business, you keep your customers, right, and able to increase your profits more. And here as well is actually you could have higher productivity. And how is that? Because you're actually giving things which are only things which they really need, right? Not wasting time on things which don't really need. Okay. So at the end of the day, really, bottom line, it could impact your revenues, your sales for your company. And just some additional things right here. Omnichannel customer experience is now preferred by like 70% of our customers. So you can't have just let's say a website or probably just a hotline right there. You need to also be on chat now because people are, our customers can actually be everywhere already. And then the nice thing here is this metric is like the due to like a good number of millennials, I would say. So 67% of customers actually now prefer, self-service over speaking to company representative. So that's actually an interesting fact. Why you could actually do things. You can actually create engagement, right? But do it in an automated way. And in fact, 40% of all customer interactions will become automated and through AI, okay, in the next couple of years. Okay. So what we just with that what I was trying to drive at is we could also be smarter in doing it, and we could be leveraging technology and actually creating our digital engagement, our engagement with our customers. Okay. So what are some ways that you can engage with your customers digitally? Right. So I'm going to give you like four main steps, I would say, right? But there, as mentioned, there could be a lot more, but just four main big steps which I'd like to share. Okay, so the first one would be first, you need to be able to build a digital presence. You need to have a digital presence as a business. You cannot not have a digital presence right now, even if you could be like a physical, store, an offline sort of brick and mortar store. You need to have one. Why? Because actually, 97% of the transactions actually start on the internet. It may not end on the internet, but before they get to you, what people do, what do we do is first what we do if we need something, say we need a dentist, a doctor, whatever. What we typically do is search Google, for instance, right? And then from that search, you get to see who pops up on the search ranks, and then you get to check out their website, their Facebook, their reviews, etc., etc. Right? So it may not end there, meaning you may not consummate the transaction there because you've gone physically to the doctor, whatever, but it started there. It started with them first searching for you being there. Okay, so the first thing would be, well, having your own website. If you don't have it yet, then you need to have one. Okay, and there's a difference. There's actually a couple of best practices in terms of building a website, a homepage, to make it very engaging. Okay, and you need to have your own Facebook page if you haven't. Okay, and then gather customer emails or contact numbers. These are things that you need to have because it doesn't have to even be like super, expensive. You could build a simple list of emails, which you can put on a simple spreadsheet. Not everyone needs to have a CRM. If you could, then nice, right? And then it could be a simple autoresponder that you could have. But this is the tool that you have because the moment you have it already, then you could engage them on that sequence already, and be able to not just and I'll discuss it a little bit more. It's not always selling to them, but more of giving them value, engaging with them, asking what they need, etc., etc. So first, you need to have all of these things. Okay. Um, As mentioned earlier, 97% of purchasing decisions already started on the internet. Okay, so that's why you need to have this. And I could give an example of what this looks like having a what they call this, having a what does engaging website mean? Okay, so just to give you an idea. All right, I'm just gonna pull this on the side. Okay, I hope you can read this. There you go. I hope you're seeing it. Okay. All right. So this one is an example. All right. So this is an example where when they come into the site, what actually happens is, okay, I could play this. Okay, this thing will play.
Hi there. Looking for a Lean Six Sigma certification training that fits in your pockets and is accessible anytime, anywhere? You've come to the right place.
There. So just to give you an idea. So when you enter the site, that person or that avatar actually greets you, and you could chat with them. And this is something which could be done. This could be done automatically. So you Reg, and then there's a way to actually do it that's both engaging and automated at the same time. Okay, so just to give you an idea. So there, another example I would say is say on Facebook. Okay, so let me just drag this over. Okay, there. So this is, well, yeah, as you can see, it's actually mine. So here, what you'd see is, of course, apart from our pages and all, when once you get started, say when you click on here, okay, let me just do that. Hmm, okay, there you go. Started. Then, oops, I just refreshed it. I'll, okay, just gonna use another one for now. Or it could be something like this while waiting for that. So when they come in, somebody gets to greet them, makes it engaging. Okay, and okay, there you can explore the services. Okay, I think my internet is just a little slow because I'm sharing. But yeah, it's loading, and you could book online as needed, etc., etc. But I guess the main point there is it's interactive, it's engaging. The moment they get there, somebody greets them. Um, it when they get there, it's almost like there's a receptionist. You know, when they come on, somebody welcomes them, somebody guides them through the service that you may have. So they that allows them to be able to get to your offers, and make it very personal for them. Okay, so that's an example of a digital presence. It's not just, it wasn't just a website; it was a website with someone engaging on, and more so same goes with the Facebook, um, with Facebook. All right, so moving on. Okay, just an interesting fact. Um, 68% of customers now actually they would leave an organization if they don't feel being cared for, and so just sharing here now the next step. The step two would be nurturing them in various digital channels. Okay, so this is not about just giving, as mentioned, it's not about just pitching sales, but more of providing value to them. There's such a term as value posting, value emails. You could build groups or communities, so there's FB group. For instance, you could host customer appreciation webinars. This is where you actually get them together, all your customers, and give them tips on how to be successful using your product or your service. Okay, and then you could nurture them. Again, this one is you could practically just look at like what are the top things which they're what are the top issues as the customers, and try to give them something. So it's not selling, it's about just giving them something of value. Okay, you could celebrate milestones together, you could create customer loyalty programs, you could get, give them surprise gifts, and create content, custom content that will address your issues. Again, typically that could be through a blog, and pretty much like a content marketing thing. So at the end of the day, the goal really is to give them information, to give them something that will allow them to be successful using your product or your service, and encouraging them to actually share once they succeed because of what you've shared with them, encouraging them to share it with others and share the results, on how you've helped them succeed using your product or service. And this is actually it's like an entire ecosystem of so many things. So you'd have like a landing page here, and an email responder, there's a chat bot as well. So there's a lot of things on the ecosystem. But there are different digital channels which you could use to actually nurture them. Okay, the important thing here is you give them something of value, okay, and establish your relationship from there. Okay. The other thing is create a venue to be able to for them to reach you 24/7. In fact, right now, the reality is, no matter what product or service you have, it's really what you're selling is the experience, right? So if what customers need right now, especially at this point, where they've been a lot of our customers are actually very impatient already. You need to be able to build customer support channels, self-service channels. Okay, and this is something which, say, you can build, like, say, a help center of some sort, where there's a knowledge base which would allow them to actually get in there and find the answers to their questions, and the soonest, right? And you can do this using technology. What I showed you earlier, it wasn't just a chatbot, a welcome avatar which welcomed them, but it actually could take them through the entire journey, like how to, how to use the product, even support is there as well. You can do all of these things, okay, and they could be done, as mentioned, in an automated manner. Okay. Now the reality is 41% of there's $41 billion lost in the US due to poor customer service. This is something which we cannot take lightly. In fact, it should be a job of everyone to be involved on it. Okay, and as mentioned earlier as well, even just having a knowledge base which is tailored to their needs is something which you could already consume, and which will take care of a lot of your inquiries as well. So it's almost like, okay, out of the things which they usually ask me for my business, what are things which they repeatedly ask, and things which I repeatedly give them? And that's something, if you have those things, which typically there is a lot, like 80%, I would say, then that's something which could be automated, and be driven through AI or chatbots, for instance. Okay. In fact, as mentioned, 67% of them actually already prefer having what we call the self-service. And lastly, I would say, is to constantly ask for feedback, and we can, this is something which you could also do in an automated fashion. But the thing is, I would say like 39% of the companies don't regularly ask customers for feedback, and that's sad. That's, in fact, that's a lot. That's a gold mine right there, which a lot of companies are leaving a lot of money on the table, I would say. So there are many ways to actually automate requesting for feedback if you are, embarrassed to ask, or or don't have time to ask it. So there's a way. There's a couple in some of our clients. We actually just give them a QR code, okay, which they just place on their desk. For instance, if it's a doctor or a dentist, like that, and the client just scan it, and once they scan it, it leads them to asking reviews for the client already. And depending on the review, if it's a good review, we get to send them to where it matters most, whether it's Google review or Facebook reviews. And if it's not so good review, we get to internalize it, and by internalize, we actually get to send them that review, okay, without it being posted online. And that would allow them to actually make it up, check back with the client, and be able to see how they could, fix things. And so, it lessens practically having negative reviews, and creates more positive reviews for you. So there, you need to build constant stream of reviews. This actually doing these things, not only, of course the review is there, but it also allows you to rank your site on searches. So when when say your clients or potential clients actually look for you, then you'd rank higher if you have more reviews and of course positive ones. Obviously, that means you have to track actions coming from there. And the nice thing with this is once you're able to take feedback, you really know what's the voice of your customers, right? And you could make improvements and then inform them about it. So they actually appreciate that. A lot of the customers sometimes, even if they didn't have a good experience earlier on, but they could turn around using things like this. Okay, so and end up with a positive review, for instance. And of course, we all know that 97% of people actually read reviews before they transact with the business. It actually says here, if you have 100 reviews, that could raise your conversion by 37%. If you have 200 reviews, it could be 44% more conversion. So this is very important. So it's both having reviews and doing them in an automated fashion. They could actually be good for you as you take in feedback for your business, but at the same time, it will help you rank your sites through the searches as well. Okay, so this is the part where your reviews actually this is where the part where your current customers can bring in more customers for you because of their reviews, because people trust reviews. And in fact, right now we trust reviews like it's the reviews of our like families and friends, right? So that's how it is. So need to have those. Okay, so okay, so what have I covered so far? First, we've discussed about what is customer engagement. Engagement is the interactions that we have with our customer and our brand, and it says a lot about it impacts their perception of our brand, and having that relationship with them allows us to actually increase loyalty and increase revenues because they increase the customer lifetime value with us. We also get to learn more about them and serve them better doing that. Okay, and there are different ways to actually engage, as mentioned. So first, you have to build your digital presence, and having that, you actually then get to what do you call this? You actually then nurture them, of course, digitally as well as based on those things I've mentioned, and be there for them through customer support and ask for feedback. Now, the thing is with this is regardless if you take care of these things or not. Okay? The truth is someone else will, and it's just a matter of time that someone else will, and could be a competitor doing it for them. So I suggest really try to not be left behind on these things. And now think about some of your engagement strategies that you can do if you haven't already. Okay, so there, as mentioned, there's so many things that we could still discuss like in details, but this is more of an overview first on why customer engagement is important and how you can some of the things that you can do to engage them digitally. Right. So before we head to the Q&A, I hope you can help me by as feedback as well. If you could type in on the chat like your single biggest takeaway in this session. Okay, that while I sip water, if you could type in the chat what your single biggest takeaway is for today's session. Okay, and then while waiting for that, afterwards I'm actually handing it over back to Colin and Sam for some of the questions.
All right. Excellent.
Hey, thank you, Reggie. Again, short but sweet. As you know, we only have a 1 hour show. But again, there's no stopping us from inviting Reggie to do a deeper dive on this topic because really currently, Reggie, I have a question really, for you. There's a lot of noise happening right now, right, in the world. So how do you
Mhm.
stand out from all of those noise that's happening around us? Of course, you have news about the pandemic, for example, and even disturbances in other countries. And of course, there was a comment that our social media pages has become an obituary walls. Right? So how do you, for example, engage customers in the midst of all of this noise around us, especially digital noise?
Right. Well, what would set you apart is if you have something which you offer, which they exactly need, and it's tailored for them, it's personalized. a lot of the business out there, they just post things, and just throwing a dynamite and hoping that whatever comes out of it. But being able to create your engagement plan, and make it very, I would say, customized to their needs, and would make it very effective. So it's almost like if you have tons of emails, right, that you're receiving, what would make you stand out? What would make you stand out if what you're giving is relevant to me, then that would make you be on my email, that will make you pop up on my email list, for instance. Um, and a lot of the companies, one of the things that would really help is having to do, there's a term called like a deep dive survey, and try to find out what are the things which they have challenges on, etc., etc. So, because if you have something which they need, then your messages would resonate more to them than just having something generic.
Yeah, I think that's a really important point, which is to be clear about the value that you're providing. Always should be correct, Reggie. Always should be top of mind. What is the value, and how are you communicating that story? There are a couple of questions that are coming in. One question, I think this is very often the first question, which is, I need more eyeballs on my website. How do I promote? And so maybe you could, Reggie, in answering that, just maybe give a little bit of a survey of how do you get the traffic? What are the different options that you have to drive traffic?
Right. Different options. There would be like the organic ones and the paid ones. So organic will take some time. That has some SEOs, and it will entail you having to provide more content which people will be interested in, which will get you to the through search rankings if you want. And then the other one would be the paid ones, and that would be like, I would say, if you're starting, the paid ones would be good. um Facebook is where a lot of people start, which is actually fine. It has gotten a little complex recently. Okay. I would say Google and YouTube, especially YouTube, are very interesting ones to actually test. Especially, I mean, I've so far we've gotten, Facebook has had our business, for instance, get to huge success since last year, but recently they've changed some algorithms. While they're still there, YouTube has been a very good source of customers as well. The nice thing with YouTube is you don't pay until they actually view your, beyond the 30-second thing. So it means that, say, they could look at your like YouTube video, but if they don't go beyond, say, 30 seconds, then you're not gonna get charged, but you get your brand promoted. So yes, there's a good number of channels. It depends on your budget as well. um but yeah, the most popular ones would be Facebook, to start.
Yeah, and then if I follow up, you mentioned the term SEO. Some of our audience may know what that is, some may
Oh,
not.
sorry.
Could you just sort of explain what that is? Probably people have heard the acronym, but maybe don't know what it is.
Sure. My apologies. Yeah. So SEO is search engine optimization. This is making your, so let's say right now, if you're searching for, say, say for instance, a dentist, right? What happens is when you search a dentist on Google, it will give you a list of results, right? Now, your goal there is, if you have your site optimized, SEO optimized is what is called, right? You will show up at the first page or even the top. The goal is to make it to the top, and getting there is a combination of so many things as well. But that's what it means. If you are ranking on SEO, then it's easier for for their potential customers to actually find you, which is the first step. You need to be found first for them to engage with you.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yep. We can combine these questions, Colin. So, for example, there's a question here for small and medium businesses and for startups, right? So, one of the questions is, what are the top digital channels to use for small businesses? And secondly, how do you build a customer base and using paid, again, to boost your posts on social media channels? Will it be practical? Again, it's an ROI question, right? For a micro, small, or medium business, or a startup even, to use digital channels to boost their customer base. Okay.
Right. what we usually do is to first you have to know who your customer is. You have to know who your avatar, like we call it customer avatar, because when you know who they are, you would actually know where they're hanging out the most and what are things which interest them, right? So for instance, they're hanging out, I'm trying to think of something. Say if you're targeting, say, some millennials, maybe they're hanging out with certain YouTube channels, for instance, which are influencers. So you would know. But first is know who your customer is. Afterwards, then you can plan your engagement strategy from there. Okay. At the very minimum, you need to have, as mentioned, a website, a web page. Okay, and you could drive traffic depending on where your customer is. A lot of people, they don't put a lot of thought around it, so it's good to do, the Facebook stuff. But if you don't know your customer, you don't understand them that much, like in terms of even the demographics, you'll be wasting a lot of money on Facebook because they're not gonna give you the right target market for you, so to speak. It's not going to give you the right audience. Okay, so first is know who your customer is and understand from there. So typically, in our case, what I usually do with my clients is I walk through. We do a customer avatar workout where we get to understand the customers better. It allows us to actually draw out a paid strategy plan for them. But yeah, Facebook is good, so long as you know your audience. If you don't, then you're just gonna waste money on Facebook.
Yeah, I think, Sam, there's a related question, still on this topic, it seems about paid boosting on Facebook in particular. So is it a good idea in general? Not such a good idea. How do you kind of measure that it's a good idea? And maybe you could even give I think some folks probably think, oh, I've got to be quite big to have the budget for that. So could you even give people like a sense of what kind of budget you need to boost on Facebook?
Yes. Boosting is fine. It shouldn't. I would say, well, honestly, not a lot get conversions from boosting, but you get to have a lot of likes for your pages, for instance. Um, it's also good that once you get something boosted, you need to have a very clear sort of funnel which follows after that. Like, it once you click on it, it goes through some landing page, and it's almost like you have a full plan of where you want them to go, the entire journey for it to be relevant, actually. In terms of budget, so boosting usually gets your page likes, something like that, but not necessarily conversions, not very high.
Can you
It
explain
may
what you
not
mean by
not
conversion? Can you explain what you mean by
conversion. Yeah,
conversion?
sorry. Yes. Conversion is like a goal which you have for your customer with at certain action. So for instance, you want them to sign up for an email newsletter that you have, or for you to be able to gather their email. So that could be a conversion. It could also be conversion could also be a sale. It's practically what your goal is for that specific engagement that you want to do with them. Okay. Now, in terms of budget, you could actually start small. In fact, we usually have them start small. It could be as small as 100 pesos per day for a campaign. And then what's important there is you allow the algorithm to play out. um, Facebook it takes a couple of days to actually run its algorithm. Once it's good, you could actually scale that specific campaign, or you can turn it off if it's not something else. But yeah, it could be as little as 100 pesos per day. And then once you get success, then that's the only time that you put more money on it. And in fact, in our case, we usually put in like 30% of our budget
Hmm.
for ads. So you need to put something in there. You cannot have like sales without spending anything. So but once you get to a certain like ROI, if for every a thousand you spend, you're getting sorry, in our case, every thousand we spend, we were getting 10,000. So it doesn't matter. So we can scale it really, and get more.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Mhm. Right there, right? Yeah, that's good, Reggie. Reggie, there's a question here. So how can business owners respond to those customers who do not like their engagement or their content, for example, or specifically, if there's an online customer complaint, That's done on your social media pages. They posted it there. How do you handle something like that, right? So, like, hey, for example,
Yeah.
I bought food, so
Yeah, and well, there's some practices, For some people, they delete that they delete that comment. In fact, but for some, in a good majority, if it's valid one, it will actually be a test of how you handle that. Will actually be could actually also pan out to be good, because sometimes if it's a valid one, you could take it up as an improvement opportunity and respond to it, and say along the lines of, hey, thank you so much, we'll make it better, something like that. Then it could be turned around. It could be an opportunity to also show people that, hey, you're open to feedback and you're good. But if there are things which are not valid, then for those, you could handle them privately. Some they delete they actually delete the comment, for instance, or ban the person, because there would be some which just wants you down. So those would be some things. But every feedback is an opportunity for you to learn, and it's an opportunity for you to show how mature you are as a business handling a feedback. So if it's a negative feedback and if it's valid, learn from it. Okay, handle it well, respond in there. Okay, and if you're doing a good job, you'll have more vibes afterwards, which will drown the
mm,
ones if ever.
yeah.
So that's
Reggie, this
fine.
reminds me, there's an ongoing issue now about the, well, let's call it out. It's out in the open. The Jollibee towel, right? So, any insights on that? Insight? You know how it started, right? A customer complained about it, posted, a photo of the supposed to be chicken joy, but inside it's not a chicken. It's actually a green towel that was, wrapped in batter and then deep fried, set and then served to her. And that started, tons of reactions. Even from competitors of Jollibee, even from fake meme makers, etc. So, and a lot of people jumped into it because Jollibee is a global brand, like, and it's an iconic Filipino company, and they're very, very active, in engaging digitally. I mean, they even have quote unquote, huge production numbers for their ads, right? So, like, the content series is amazing. But this one, like, again, it's recent. It happened last week. So, your thoughts on, the Jollibee towel experience, and then relating it to our, our current topic on digital channel engagement.
Yeah, I honestly, I haven't gone into a lot of details on it. I just heard them out from my wife. Um, but I'd like to believe that the first half, it has to be validated if it's really, I don't know the details in terms of it was really true, like, or it was something else, because I think there could be something in between delivery and and the customer, right? So we don't know the details there. But I think what Jollibee has done, which I've seen, and we've just actually ordered a Jollibee this lunchtime for my kids. They already have like safety seal, so they acted on it. So they place a seal on it. So there you could they pretty much, okay, this is a situation where you could explain what you have done, and uh and and just tell people that you're doing things based on your standards anyway. But as you can see, what you'd also notice is people actually flocking to actually support Jollibee as well, because it's been doing us a great service for the longest time. And here you would see how people have been loyal to the brand too. That yeah, isolated cases like this may happen, but the brand is still strong, and you would see how, because of how they've engaged their customers, they actually get a lot of support as well.
Yeah. So I have a question for you, Reggie. Maybe we could paint a little scenario here. I think one of the probably areas of biggest explosion of small business in Metro Manila, at least during this pandemic, has been home kitchens. I just even my family has one now. So if you were sitting down with someone who's running like a home kitchen, um, let's take one hand. We got 5 fingers. What would be like the top 5 things that you would say to them that they should do? Let's assume that they've done nothing. That maybe they're just using Viber. I think that's been quite popular, as you probably know, to kind of promote your items on Viber or Instagram, perhaps. But what are the things that you do? Maybe kind of as a recap of what you covered in your slides. But put it into that context of someone like running a small business like that.
Right. So, sorry, you're saying something about home kitchen, which is can you repeat that? Please? I
Sure.
it
Yeah,
was
I think we're getting a little.
I didn't.
Yeah, I see we're getting a little breakup on the signal there. So yeah, just in short,
Yeah.
if you were running a home kitchen business, it's quite popular now. What are the 4 or 5 things that you would say that they could do to boost their results, their performance, using digital?
Right. First, I'd probably but I would need to know who you're targeting, who they're targeting with, like which vicinities. Obviously, they need to have their Facebook page set up and build their digital presence practically, and know where who they want to target. There are things which you can do, like you could create some form of viral marketing, which could actually encourage your existing clients to actually share their experience, and you could incentivize them to do that. um, we've seen a lot of, let's say, for instance, you could do some giveaways as well, which could um, increase the recognition of your brand. So for some, what they do is they give away a few things, and have their clients sort of promote them in the like manner as well. For some, I could probably also look at, there's a coin term as influencer marketing. So let's say in what I'm doing, let's say in a home kitchen, is there a specific person that's influential, who actually would like what I'm doing? So I probably give them, say, a free, I give them something for free, and in exchange for them, for instance, giving me a testimonial or promoting my business, something like that. Right? So that's the like influencer marketing aspect of things. Um, and then locally, you could actually target, if you know your the geographic location of and the demographics of your customers, you could actually run ads around it, and just make sure that if you run ads, you are ready to receive the inquiries. Because what we've also seen is people started to run ads, but they're not able to really cater to the questions and then the queries. I've seen as well in small businesses, of which case that's where we help them with like small simple chatbots, to be able to handle those things. So what else? Yeah, so you would build your digital presence, and then for your existing customers, you could, if it's a home kitchen thing, then you could regularly post something relevant to them, right? Relevant to your audience. Um, you could, for some, you could actually run a Facebook like um, campaign, but have them post regularly, because that way, Facebook also has an algorithm in terms of what shows up, which post shows up. So the more you post regularly and one which engages, so where you have your customers actually like it or comment on it, the more engagement you have, the more likely it is that your post will get seen on Facebook, for instance.
Yeah,
So
that's interesting, Reggie. I've heard you say that a couple times now about the algorithm. So I think the takeaway I'm getting from that is be a little bit patient, right? That you need to
yes,
be consistent and stick with something. Don't just try it for a day or two and then give up on it. That is that
correct.
right? Should we? How
Yes,
long
yes.
should you be How long should you be patient? I guess to decide that you've given it a proper try.
Yeah, usually takes a week, 7 days to actually for the algorithm to sort of stabilize. So we usually turn off or scale something after a week.
Okay, very
So
good. I think
if you
that's
didn't get if you didn't get something in a day, don't worry. I mean, it's just starting to learn. So because we are using the algorithm to actually find us the right clients, the right customers. So if you're not getting it in a day, that could be fine. I give it a few days to learn.
Yeah, that's great. So Sam, I think right there's a really great practical advice, right? Because I think a lot of people they maybe boost or try something for a day or two and then they didn't get anything and then they give up, I think, too fast. So that's really great advice.
Yep.
Reggie.
And don't start big, right? You mean you can spend, for example, don't spend like 50,000 pesos, in one go, right? So
You
just
don't have. You don't.
start
Yeah.
start
That's
small,
Start
right?
small.
Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
start very
The key
small.
there.
Yeah,
The key there is testing. So you start small, test it based on data. You act. So you either turn it off or try something else. That's key. It's testing. So in our case, we started at like 100, and then we ended up now doing like 10, 15,000 a day. But if you're getting sales on 100, so it doesn't really matter, right? So, but it takes some time to actually test things.
Yeah, great. So probably we can wrap with this, Reggie.
Yeah.
Reggie.
Just one more call. Sorry.
Oh,
Before
yeah.
you actually send traffic, make sure that you have something that's converting. Because if your offer is not converting in the first place, the traffic will just be a waste of money. So that would be my other thing. That before you run something, it has to be converting and attractive.
Yeah. So maybe we could wrap with this. You've given some great practical advice for those people who wanted to take it a little bit further, like maybe they were intrigued with these little chatbots that you showed and the little voice welcome and all. It might be a little bit beyond their capability. Can you tell us about Ignite Vision Digital? Is this the sort of thing you do? And maybe there's a website that we can link to. Just how can people get more advanced if they want to take it sort of to the next level?
Sure. Let me draw this up. So what we do right now, we actually help businesses uh, build their digital presence. That's what we do. So we usually give them like to start with, like a client getting tree, is what we call it. So we provide them a website chat assistant and a FB chat assistance and review smart reviews assistant. That's usually a small package right there. And then from there, we once they build the digital presence, we also help them with the nurturing side of things as well. So it's pretty much a journey. It's not like something which you can build overnight and that's it. I would say you build something initially to have the digital presence and start to engage from there and learn from the interaction. And from there, some things will work, some things will not work. Definitely. This is something which we offer businesses, and right now we're especially for this session we're actually giving. I'll just drop. I think I sent the link earlier. So
We're
we
actually
are
scrolling
we
it
are
right
giving
now.
some.
We're scrolling right now.
Oh yeah. So what? I'm not sure if am I is my screen still showing up, Colin?
Yes, it
Uh,
is. Yes.
maybe. Yeah. So that's what you get with this. Okay. So we're giving you the smart chat assistant as mentioned. So it's like their concern. So when they visit your website, somebody's going to they're going to who's going to entertain them. Same goes with the review. The reviews assistant would be one which will initiate the request for review for your clients. And this is important because it also helps in ranking. So what this does is pretty much a reputation management service where we ask them automatically for a review, and if they, as mentioned, if they give you a 4 or 5, it routes to either Google or Facebook or whichever is relevant. So there's an algorithm there, and if it gives you a 3 or below, it will just get the feedback from the client and it will send it to you so you can do something about it, but it won't get posted. So there's that. And part since we want them to actually be successful, if they don't have a website, we'll build one for them because it's important. And so that's part of the bonuses which we give them to increase their searchability. So pretty much it should normally take care of a lot of the initial challenges with having no website, no interaction. We even help them claiming their Google My Business and improve their reviews. Typically, once you have this, you'd be set up to rank organically even and have more clients to go to you. After which we can discuss further in terms of engaging them with so many other things like email marketing and those other stuff. But these are the things which we help them with to start.
That's
And we have a nice offer for them, which will if they sign up on that, we'll send them the details.
yep. We can get
that's
discounts for
awesome.
those
Yeah.
who watch. Yeah, those who watch this episode, right, Reggie?
You know,
So just
yeah, Sam. Obviously, one of the things we're trying to do with the Global Entrepreneurship Philippines is to educate, help people to become excellent in what they do. And I think, it's great to have Reggie because it's a great example of someone who's really been upping his game and applying the skills, and now he's in a position to help others. So, we are, Reggie, putting your website up already on the screen for those who are interested, and we thank you so much for your time. Thanks for bringing.
Thank you, Reggie. Looking forward to
your
your next
expertise.
next episode, Joe. So hope to see you again the second season, Reggie. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you.
Colin, we had some greetings from our audience. So this is from Romel Robin. So he says good day. Okay. And of course, all the way from the US, Doug is saying hi. So hey,
Hi
Doug.
again, Doug.
So 2 a.m. It's a 2 a.m. show. So thank you for Doug. Sorry, I missed your your episode last week. But again, I watched the replay. Great stuff. So is there a blog? Did Doug write a blog about this 12-point? Colin, so we can post.
Yeah, I think there is. Yeah. So actually, if our audience would visit globalchamber.org, it's not .com, it's .org. You'll find an excellent business blog there. So not only hearing about what Doug talked about, but just tremendous information for businesses read around the world, and also just a great way to find out about information about Global Chamber. And for those here in the Philippines, we have a very special offer as well, which is you can get 50% off on the Global Chamber membership. And so, Sam, could I mention about the early adopter program?
Well, yeah, good, Colin. So
so we, as part of this series of 10 episodes, and Sam, maybe you can mention in a moment, it leads up for those of you who will go through all of the episodes. They don't have to be live. You can come and watch the replay. Then you have an opportunity to earn a digital certificate or digital badge that Sam will tell you about in a moment. Yep. And so the way to do that is to sign up for what we're calling the early adopter program. Probably the easiest way to do it is if you go to the Global Entrep PH page on Facebook. You might be already there, but I know some of you are watching on YouTube. So go to Facebook, go to Global Entrep PH, and probably the simplest thing to do is just PM us there. Just message us there. We're more than happy to assist you, and we will give you a link to sign up at no cost for the early adopter program. And this is going to give you access to some tools from our partner out of South Africa, Deshan, who unfortunately couldn't join us today. He's feeling a little under the weather. But he has this amazing business enabling toolbox that you will get access to through the early adopter program, as well as the Global Chamber network resources as well. And then, Sam, what do they have to do when they watch all 10 episodes? They go into the early adopter program. What do they need to do to get this as a
Yes, Colin. So first on the EAP, let us just close the EAP. So we're going to actually close the application for the early adopter program by the 5th episode. So that's next episode, right? So, but we're still taking in applicants for the EAP. The link is posted. It's actually available also on our Facebook page and group for global entrepreneurship. Let me go back, Colin. This is the group, right? So sorry, this is the page. So Global Entrep page, and this is the Global Entrepreneurship Group. So this was taken a few weeks ago, so we have more members now. And this is the badge that they're going to get, the one on the left. So if they watch all of these courses that we have, so this is the 4th episode, they can watch it on replay. And then on the 5th episode, hopefully we can post already the exams for the first 4 episodes. And they take the exam, they pass it. Then they're going to get this certified global entrepreneur badge, again branded by the BounceBack Academy, of course, Global Chamber, Business Enabling Toolbox, Bluepoint Foundation, Digital Bayan, and then of course our partner for PR, Dominguez PR will be there. So these are the 10 episodes that are coming up next week. Colin, we'll have Ray, right? Ray Estrada.
Yes.
Yep. Okay. So
I'm looking forward to that one as well. So Ray is a colleague of mine, and I also teach at end-to-end colleges. And Ray is sort of the expert when it comes to entrepreneurship, actually, the entrepreneurship program. And He's going to be talking about why strategy matters in growing your business. So really encourage people to be back here again, same time, same place next week.
Again, another power pack presentation, right, Colin? So, I mean, Ray alone, like I can imagine his hourly rate for consulting, right? So he's going to give us, again, another great content. Again, going back to strategy, right? It's like a full circle. So the first episode is all about that. Then now we're back to strategy again on how to grow the business. Okay, so I think that's it, Colin. So these are our sites again. I'm going through them. So this is the early adopter program. Don't forget, if you cannot wait to get your hands on, the business enabling toolbox, you can get it exclusively. This is an exclusive discount to all members of BounceBack Network, BounceBack Philippines. Just use this code BB plus GC plus BET70 if you go to the business enabling toolbox, and you'll get 70% off. What's good about this, Colin, is that Dishen has committed the 10% of all proceeds based on this code will go to the BounceBack Philippines COVID relief programs. So it's also going to help us to again help our country bounce back from the pandemic. Okay,
Yeah,
so
excellent, and we look forward to having Deshen back with us next week.
Yep.
So
get well, Dishen.
join us. Yeah, hi, Deshen. So join us next episode, June 16, 5 p.m. Manila time. By the way, Sam, I know we've actually got a growing audience of people from outside of the Philippines watching us too, and even contacting us, say, wow, we love this concept and we'd like to bring it into our own countries as well. So it's great to see that we're having that impact as well.
Yeah, hello, Global Chamber, Global Family. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, Colin, so why don't you close the episode, Colin? So, right.
Sure, right. So I'll just sum up again by thanking Reggie. Keep in mind, to all of you, don't be afraid of digital marketing and digital channels. You can start very simple. As Sam pointed out, don't pour a lot of money into it up front. Just start small and experiment. So we've got great advice from Reggie. If you came in late to this, you can go now or whenever you're watching this and rewind and watch that part of Reggie's talk. And then other than that, we'll see you next week. We're going to give you a little information more here, a little video about the business enabling toolbox, I think. And we'll see you next week. So take care, everyone.